Hello everyone, in today's video we're gonna see how to create this really cool photo manipulation using Adobe Photoshop. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, first if you want to help support this channel, check out Envato Element and also the sponsor of this video. Envato Element is a must-have library for all creators out there. With a vast library of resources available in Envato Element, you can save time and effort and money. With their unlimited downloads of premium design and stock templates, including print templates, graphics, photos, and intros for your video too, and also royalty-free audio tracks. And to get all of these assets at once, you only need one subscription. So if Envato Elements is for you, you can get a 50% discount of an annual subscription. So instead of paying $33 for a monthly plan, you'll be paying only $16.50 per month for an annual plan. You can check them out today using the link down in the video description. Alright, so let's go ahead and open Photoshop. And then we're gonna start by creating a new document. So I will go to File, New, and I want to create a 4K document in the resolution. So I'm gonna put 3840 for the width, and in the height I will put 2160. And I will keep the resolution set to 72 and RGB in the color mode, and the background is white. It's okay, and I'll press OK. Alright, so the first thing that we are going to do is to create a solid color. So I will go down to adjustments in here and I will choose solid color. And the color that we'll be using is a color that is a little bit blue for the sky. A little bit softer, something like that. And of course we can always go back and change this color if we want. So I'm gonna just press OK for now. And I will just delete this background in here. And I will delete the layer mask too, and let's call this BG for background. Alright, next I will go and open the stars image that we'll be using, which is this one. So I will take it and open it in a new tab by dragging it down in here, and then I will select everything by pressing Ctrl Command A and Ctrl Command C to copy. Then we'll just close this, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl Command B to paste. Alright, now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and then I'm going to press Ctrl Command T, and I will make it fit somewhere around here, and I will press Enter. Alright, now I will put down the opacity of this layer to 50 or 40%. So let's choose 45. And as you can see, this will create this a light star image that we'll be using. So let's call this stars. Alright, now I will go again to my folder, and this time I will bring this space texture. So I will take it and open it in a new tab again by dragging it down in here, and again I will select everything by pressing Ctrl Command A and Ctrl Command C, and this time I'm gonna press Ctrl Command W to close this tab, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl Command V to paste it in here. Alright, now again, I'm gonna press Ctrl Command T to enter the transform mode. And then I will rotate it a little bit, somewhere around here. Alright, and I will place it. Actually, I want this light to be somewhere in here. So I'm gonna make it bigger. And I have this link between the height and width in here. So this way I can just drag and make it bigger as much as I want. So I want to put it around somewhere in here. Alright, I think this is good. And again, I can always go back and adjust this if I want. So I will just keep it like that, and I will press Enter. And let's call this space. And then I will change the blending mode of it to lighten. Alright, now I can just drag it down if I want, somewhere in here. Alright, so I will keep it like that. Maybe I will rotate it, so I'm gonna press Ctrl Command T again, and then I will right click and choose Flip Horizontal. and I will just move this in here. Alright, somewhere in here. Alright, and I will press enter. Alright, next I will open the cloud image. So I will go back to my folder, and again I will take it and open it in a new tab. And this time I will just take it and drag it just to change the habit. And I will close this tab again. Alright, now I'm gonna press Ctrl Command T again, and I will make our cloud image fit somewhere around here because I want this to be like that. Alright, something like that, and I will press enter. Alright, so let's call this clouds. It's good to keep everything clean. And then I will apply a layer mask on this by one click on this layer mask. And now I'll go to my brushes, and of course I want to hide all this sky that we have in here because we already have our skies. So I want to remove this blue sky that we have. So I'm gonna select, I will make sure that I'm selecting the layer mask, and I will use a soft round brush, and I will start deleting. So we'll make sure that the opacity is set to 100 and the flow set to 100, and I will just delete using black as my foreground color. I will delete all these parts that I don't want to use. Alright, I think this is good. Alright, next I'm gonna apply a curve for these clouds. So I will go to adjustments and choose curves, and then I will clip it by one click on this clipping mask icon in here, and this should clip it. And then I will just drag a little bit for it to be darker. We just make a point and drag it a little bit, just like that, just to make it a little bit darker to blend with our background, something like that. Alright, I think this is good. Now I will go back to adjustments again, and this time I will choose a color balance. I want to remove a little bit of the colors that we have in our cloud. So let's put the cloud in here, or the image in here, and I will just use the midtones for this. So I will start with a little bit of cyan. Maybe I will put -6, and I will add a little bit of green. So I will put 6 or 5, and I think I will put a little bit of yellow for this to blend everything together. So -10, it should be good. Alright, so now the before and after. I think it looks better like that. Alright, now we're gonna add the moon in this part in here. So let's go back to our folder and choose the moon. It's already in PNG. So we'll just take it and open it in a new tab. And again, I will drag it to the other tab, and I will place it as in the edge in here. So I'm gonna press Ctrl Command T, and I will make it bigger. Maybe rotate it a little bit. I want it somewhere around in here. Alright, I think this is good, and I will press enter. Let's close this tab. Alright, so now I think I will apply a layer mask on this, and I will delete a little bit down in here. So while I'm selecting the layer mask, I will go back to my brushes, and I will just delete a little bit. But I will make sure that I'm using black as my foreground color, and I will just delete a little bit from the down area in here, just to blend everything a little bit with the stars. Alright, I think this is good. But I think I'm gonna apply a layer style to give it a little bit of glow. But first let's name it to moon. And then I will double click on it to open the layer style dialog. And I will go to outer glow, and I will select it. And let's reset everything to default. So for the blending mode, I will change it to color dodge. and then I will put the opacity to around 60%, and the size I will make it 250 pixels, and for the color I will change it to a yellowish color, something like this, maybe a little bit lighter. Alright, something like that, and I will press OK, and I will keep everything in here the same, and I will press OK, just to give it a little bit of glow in here. Alright, now we are finished with our background, so let's put everything in a group. So I will select the first layer, and then I will press shift, and I will go down to the last layer in here, and I will one click, and this should select all, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl Command G, and let's call this BG for background. Alright, next I will go and open the edge that we will be using. So I will go back to my folder, and I will take this edge, it's a PNG, and I will drag it down to open in a new tab, and again I will drag it to the other document, and let's close this. Alright, now I will press Ctrl Command T, and I want this to be in the middle, so I will take it and put it just right here. Maybe I will make it a little bit bigger, and I will drag it a little bit down somewhere in here. Alright, something like that, and I will press enter. Maybe I will put it up a little bit. Alright, something like that, and let's call this edge. Alright, next I will go and open the model image that we'll be using, which is this one. So again I will take it and open it in a new tab, and I will choose the marquee tool, and I only want this part in here, so I will just make a box. I will select the rock tool because I'm gonna blend it with our edge. So I'm gonna press Ctrl Command C and Ctrl Command W to close this tab, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl Command V to paste it in here, and let's call this model. Alright, now we need to cut it, so I will go to select, and I will choose subject. Alright, now we have our selection. Now I'm gonna apply a layer mask on this, and then I will press Ctrl Command T, and I will make it a little bit smaller, somewhere in here, maybe a little bit more. Alright, somewhere around here it should be fine. Alright, and I will press enter. Now we'll zoom in to see if I need to make some improvements. As you can see, we still have a little bit in here that it's not cut properly. So let's go and select our brushes, and I will make the brush smaller. Also the hardness, I will put it around 80 or 90%. So let's keep it 88. And I will make it a little bit smaller like that, and I will make sure that I'm selecting the layer mask, and using white I can bring back in here, and also I'm gonna switch to black to remove this part in here, and I will switch between black and white to adjust everything. Alright, I think this look fine. Now I'm gonna blend the down area with the feet with our edge in here. So while I'm selecting the layer mask, I will make our brush softer, and also I will bring down the opacity to around 60 or 50% with a 50% flow, and using white as my foreground color, I will bring back from our main background of the models, just to blend everything in here. We're gonna fix this using curves, so it's okay. Alright, something like that, it should be fine. Alright, now we'll go back to the edge layer in here, and I will select it, and I will apply a curve on it. So I will go to adjustment and choose curves, and I will make sure to clip it using this clipping mask icon, and I will darken it by taking this point and put it down, something like that. Alright, so I will keep it like this, and then I will go back to adjustments again, and this time I will choose hue and saturation, and again I will clip it, and I will bring down the opacity to around -15 or 16. Alright, now we'll go back to adjustments again, and this time I will choose another curves. For this tutorial we're gonna use a lot of adjustments to blend everything together. Alright, so again I will clip it using this clipping mask icon, and this time I will take this point and make it lighter by dragging it like that. Maybe put a point in here, something like that. Alright, now we'll go and select the layer mask, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl Command I to invert it, and this will turn it black. And using the same brush, I will just make this edge lighter because of the moon. So I will just paint a little bit in this area. Alright, so something like that. Now I will go to the models layer, and again I will put a curve adjustment on them. So I will select adjustments and choose curves, and again I will clip it, and I will darken it like I did with the edge layer. Alright, something like that. And again I will go back to adjustment, and again I will choose hue and saturation, and I will clip it, and I will put down the saturation to -30 or 35. Alright, so let's go back again to adjustment, and this time I will choose another curve, and again I will clip it, and I will darken it so we'll match the edge. Alright, something like that. But I only want this to be applied in the feet area, so I will select the layer mask, and using the same brush I will delete, using black as my foreground color, I will delete from the top in here. Alright, something like that. Alright, so let's go back to adjustments one last time, and this time I will choose another curve, and I will clip it again, and then I will make it light somewhere around in here. Alright, and I will invert our layer mask by pressing Ctrl Command I, and again I will use the same brush, and I will go to the edges of our models, and using white as my foreground color I will just put a little bit of light on the edge. Alright, I think it looks fine. Alright, next I will add a layer on top, and I will call this smoke, and then I will right click, and I will choose my smoke brush in here. I will make sure to put these brushes in the link down in the description below to download this. Alright, so I will change the color to white, and I want to add a little bit of smoke in the edge in here. So I will use the same opacity to around 50 or 40% in the opacity and 50% in the flow, and I will add a little bit of smoke in the edge in here. Alright, something like that, not that much. I think it looks fine. Alright, now we'll go to the edge layer, and I'm gonna create a layer under it. So I'm gonna press Ctrl or Command and one click, and this will create a layer under the edge layer in here, and I will call this shadow. Then I will right click and choose a soft brush, and using black as my foreground color, I will add a little bit of shadow in this area in here, and mostly in this part in here. Just to make it pop, just like that. Not that much. I think this looks good. Alright, now I will put everything in a group. So I'm selecting the shadow layer, and again by pressing Shift, I will select the first layer, and I'm gonna press Ctrl Command G, and I will call this models. Alright, now we want to add a curve layer on top of everything. So I will go to adjustment and select curve, and I think I will want to darken everything a little bit. Not that much, just a little bit like that. Maybe not that much either. Alright, something like that. And I will select the layer mask, and using black as my foreground color, I will delete a little bit in this area in here. And I think I will put down the opacity to around 70%. Alright, now it's time for us to open our whales. So let's go back to our folder, and I will select this blue whale and open it in a new tab. Then I will switch to my move tool and drag it to the other document. Alright, now I'm gonna press Ctrl Command T, and then I will right click and choose flip horizontal. And I will drag it down a little bit, make it bigger. Actually, I want to apply a puppet warp for this. So let's press enter, and then I will go to edit and choose puppet warp. And I will make 1 point in here, and 1 point down in here, and another one, that's right, in here, and another one in here. And then I will select this point, and I will move the head a little bit up. Maybe I will move this a little bit down. Maybe this part too, and a little bit like that. This one it will be hidden, so it's okay, but I want the head to be a little bit like peeking like that, and I will one click on this check mark. Alright, now I will press Ctrl Command T again, and I will make it a little bit bigger, somewhere around in here. Alright, just like that, and I will press enter. Maybe I will move it right here. Alright, so I will name this whale 1, and then I will apply a layer mask on it. And while I'm selecting the layer mask, I will switch to my brush tool by pressing B, and let's put back the opacity to 100 and the flow to 100, and I will hide using black as my foreground color. I will hide this part in here and this part, and a little bit from here. Alright, I think it's fine. Now let's go back to our whale in here, and then I will switch to my move tool, and I will take it and drag it in here because I want to use 2 of them. So this one I will call this whale 2, and then I'm going to press Ctrl Command T, and again I will make it bigger, and I will rotate it a little bit, maybe a little bit like that. Alright, something like that. Put it down a little bit. Alright, I think this looks good, and I will press enter. And again I will apply a layer mask on it. And I will switch to my brushes by pressing B, and I will hide this one, and I will hide a little bit this area in here. Alright, I think this is good. Now I will select the wheel one, and I will apply a curve adjustment on it. So I will go and choose curve, and I will clip it, and I will darken it quite a bit, somewhere in here. Alright, and then I will switch the layer mask to black by pressing Ctrl Command I, and using white as my foreground color. I'm gonna darken a little bit in the down area in here. Alright, so I'm gonna do the same for the other wheel in here. So I will select it and go to adjustments and choose curves, and again I will clip it, and I will make it darker. Alright, and again I will invert the layer mask by pressing Ctrl Command I. Again I will darken it using the same brush in these areas in here. Alright, now I will go to adjustments again, and again I will choose another curve, and again I will darken the whole thing, something like that. And I will invert the layer mask by pressing Ctrl Command I, and this time I will load the selection of the two whales by pressing Ctrl or Command and one click, and then I will press Ctrl Shift or Command Shift, and this will add to the selection, and one click, and now we have the both whales selected. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl Command H to hide the selection, and I will apply this dark curve in here only for the whales. So I will select the layer mask, and while my foreground color is white, I will darken more these parts in here. Not from the cloud, because this will show the edge. So something like that. Alright, I think this should be fine. Now I'm going to press Ctrl or Command D to deselect our hidden selection. Alright, so I think this is good. Now we only need to add a little bit of highlights on top of the two whales. And again, while we are working like this, we can always go back and double click on our curves and maybe adjust our values in here if we want. And that's what's good about this. So you can always go back and make changes. Alright, so I think this looks good. Now we'll add another curve on top. So I will go and select curves. And this time I'm gonna make it light everything together by making one point and bring it up, just like that. Alright, I think it looks good. And again I will invert the layer mask by pressing Ctrl or Command I. And again we will load the same selection by pressing Ctrl or Command, one click, and then Ctrl Shift or Command Shift and add to the selection. Now we have the both of them selected. And then I will select the layer mask, but let's first hide the selection. And using the same brush, I will add a little bit of light in this part in here. Alright, I think it looks good. I'm gonna press Ctrl or Command D because we already have our selection. Alright, I think it looks good. Now we'll select this curve and then go down to the first whale and press Shift and one click, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl or Command G, and this should put them in a group, and I will call this whales. And let's put this curve in the model in here. And now we have everything clean. Alright, now I want to add a little bit of fog in these areas of the whales. So I'm gonna create a new layer and I will call this fog, and I will just use a normal round brush with 50% opacity and 60% flow maybe, and white as my foreground color, and I will try to add a little bit of fog as in these areas in here to give that dramatic effect. Now I think I would put the opacity a little bit to 70 or 60%. Alright, I think this should be fine. You can add more if you want, but for the sake of this tutorial I think it looks good. Maybe I will put it back to 50%. Alright, next I want to add a little bit of stars on top of our whales in here. So let's go back to our document or to our folder and choose the star that we use in the beginning. So we'll take it and open it in a new tab. And I will switch to my move tool and I will take it and drag it to our document. And let's close all these tabs in here. Alright, now I'm gonna press Ctrl Command T and I will make it smaller. Alright, somewhere in here, and I will press Enter. And let's call it stars. And then I will desaturate it by pressing Ctrl Shift U. And I will change the blending mode of it to lighten. And this should add some stars in here. Now, but I don't want them to be near the models in here, so I'm gonna apply a layer mask. And I will use the same brush and using black as my foreground color, I will delete from these areas in here. And I will delete in this part too. Alright, so something like that. Maybe in the moon part too. Alright. But now I want to add a little bit of orangey light on top of the whales. So I will create a new layer and let's call this light. And first, before we're gonna do any brushing, I'm gonna change the blending mode of it to color dodge. And then I will double click to open the layer style dialog, and I will uncheck transparency shape layer. And this way we can have more light effect with this box unchecked. Alright, now we'll change the color to an orangey color. Something like this. And I will use the same brush, maybe with a lower flow, 40% and 50% opacity. And I will just add a little bit of color to our image in here. Just a little bit, because we're gonna do that in the end. We're gonna add more colors to the whole thing. But something like this. Maybe in this part of the clouds. Alright, I think this should be fine. And I will put down the opacity to 60 or 70% with a 70% flow too. There's a little bit of details in here. Alright, so I'm gonna put all these three layers in a group. So we'll select them, three of them, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl Command G. And let's call this fogs and stars. Alright, so we're almost done. Now we need to add some adjustments to wrap everything together. So let's start with a curve again. So let's go to adjustments and choose curves. And this time I will go to the RGB and I will start with the green, and I think I will put this point in here and put it up a little bit to add a little bit of green. Alright, somewhere around in here. And then I will go to the blue, and I will do the same. I will add a little bit of blue. Maybe put this down a little bit in here, just to give this bluish color. And I will put the opacity to 50%. And then I will use the layer mask of the curve, and I will delete in this area in here, the ground. I'm using black as my foreground color, and from the models. So let's see before and after. I think I want to delete a little bit this part of the wheels. I will make the brush bigger. And maybe in this part too. Just to give this bluish color in here. Alright, I think this is good. Alright, now we'll go back to adjustments again, and again I will choose another curve, and I want to fade everything together. Take this a little bit up, and then I will make one point and put it down, just to give it that nice fade. Alright, something like that. So let's see. Alright, I think this is good. Again, I will put the opacity to 70%, and I think I'm done with the curves. So I'm gonna make them in a group, and I will call this curve. Now I will add a texture on top of this. So I'm gonna go to my folder, and I will choose this texture in here and open it in a new tab. The reason why I open in a new tab, because if I open it directly to our documents, it will open as a smart object, and I prefer to do it like this. So I will open it in here and then drag it like that. And let's call this texture, and let's press Ctrl Command T. I think this is in the right size, and I will press enter. Alright, now I will change the blending mode of it to soft light, and I will put the opacity to 20%. And let's see before and after. Alright, so we're almost done. Now we only need to make a stamp visible layer to apply some camera raw filter or camera raw magic on top of this. So let's make that unfortunate shortcut. So I'm gonna press Ctrl Shift Alt E all together, or Command Shift Option E all together, and this should make a stamp visible layer on top, or more like a screenshot of what we have in here. And let's call this camera raw. And because I want to keep everything non-destructive, I'm gonna right click and choose convert to smart object, and this way I can always go back and adjust all the filters that I want to use. For example, camera raw filter in here. So let's go to filter and choose camera raw filter. Alright, so we'll go to the basic, and I think I will mess with the temperature a little bit. So I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow on this, maybe 10 or 12. And in the tint, I think I will maybe add a little bit of magenta. So let's see. I think I will keep the magenta like that, but I will go back to the temperature and I will bring it down to around 6. So let's see before and after. Yeah, I like that red between the blue that we already have to give a dreamy effect. Now let's go to exposure and add a little bit of exposure, 0.20, and with the contrast I think I will add a little bit more, maybe 10 or 12. So let's keep it 12. Let's keep it like that, 11. And for the highlight, I think I will add a little bit of highlight, 4 or 5. Let's see before and after first. Alright. Now for the shadow, I don't think I'm gonna mess with the shadow. I think I will go directly to the texture and add a little bit of texture, 6 or 8. Let's keep it 7. And in the clarity I will add a little bit, maybe 6 or 5. So let's keep it 6. And I think I want to add more vibrance to this, so I will take this up to 30 or 35. So let's keep it 30, but I will bring down the saturation to -20. It's like that. Let's see before and after. Alright, I think this is good. Now I want to add a little bit of grain, so I will go to effect and I will put just a little bit, 6 or 8 in the grain in here, and I will press OK. So let's see before and after. I think this is not bad. Alright, so one trick I always do for me to see the picture in another perspective, I always right click and change the background of Photoshop. Right click and change it to white. I have it custom to white to see how the picture would change in a white background. As you can see, it looks very different now. If I right click and go back to default, it's not the same. So it's always good to change between the backgrounds in here, because most of the website they have a white background. So it's good to see exactly how it looks on a white background in here. Alright, I think this is not bad. We only need to add a little bit of color on top of everything. So let's add a layer on top, and let's call this lights. And let's change the blending mode of it to color dodge. And then I will double click on it to open the layer side dialog again. And again I will uncheck the transparency shape layer. And this way, with the color dodge, it will give more realistic lights. Alright, so I think now we go and choose a bright yellowish to orangey color. Maybe a little bit of orange, something like that. And I will press OK. And I will change to brushes by pressing B. And I will try to add some colors on top of all of this. So let's start in this part in here. I'm gonna go back and reduce the opacity. Maybe let's do it now. I'm gonna put back the opacity to 50% with a 50% flow. And let's change the color to something more stronger. Something like that. Maybe add a little bit of red. Alright, something like that. And let's add in this part in here. You can always go back and delete from this. But now I want to add the same color to our models. So actually I'm gonna select or load the selection of our models. So I will go to the model layer, and then I will go down and I will press Control and one click on the layer mask of our models in here, and this will load the selection. And also I'm gonna load the selection of the edge, so I'm gonna press Control Shift or Command Shift to add to the selection, and this way we have all this selected. Now we'll go back to our light layer, and let's hide the selection by pressing Control or Command H, and let's paint some color on our models. So let's make the brush smaller, and let's add a little bit of color in the edge. Alright, now I'm gonna press Ctrl Command D to deselect. Let's see before and after. Maybe I will bring it down to around 30 or 40%. Let's see. Alright, I think this is not bad. So let's do our trick. Let's change the background of Photoshop to default and see how it look. And with the white. Alright, I think I'm happy with it. So let's bring it back to default and let's put all the adjustments in a group by selecting the curve and the light, and then press Ctrl Command G, and let's call this adjustment, and let's see before and after. Alright, I think this is good. This pasty, it will be available for all the Patreons, the link down in the description below, and that will be all. Alright, so I hope that you enjoy and you like this tutorial and it was a little bit helpful for you. If you tried this or made something similar, make sure to let me know. I have all the link down in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe and comment, and wait for more tutorials to come, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching.